Ciao ragazzi, thank you for joining us once again on Inter Worldwide with my brother Christian Rivas, and we both might be rocking tops that support the Azzurri and some parts of Italy, but we're here to talk about the crazy Copa, the Copa America once again, and it's just a nice little casual chat. Can't wait for it. Christian's here, and I was actually able to tune into a fair bit of footage over the last couple of days, watch the entire Argentina-Uruguay game live, managed to tune into a fair bit of the Brazil versus Peru game. So we'll talk about those two big fixtures and a couple of other ones as well. Christian, welcome. What's going on, man?
Nothing, man. Yo, like you called it, Copa America Loca. Like, it's been crazy. Like, Peru got completely blown out and obliterated by Brazil. Didn't see that one coming. I thought it'd be a little more competitive, 2-1, even a 2-0 before. Didn't see that coming. Argentina, same thing. Disappointing. Colombia, definitely disappointing. I expected a lot more from them. Their last results haven't shown me anything. But Paraguay, that's got to be like the main talking point for me. Is I was really impressed with how they played. Even though it was Bolivia, them dudes, like, they showed up. They handled business. Like, Chile can only beat that Bolivia 1-0, and Paraguay went in there and stomped them. Like, it was impressive. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. So with a couple of results that have gone this way, the competition is about to start taking shape and fatigue's about to settle in. So before we move into the specifics of the individual fixtures, are there any important talking points from the tournament so far, Christian Rivas, that you just want to bring up overall?
So the one thing, like, when you start looking at the teams and they start balancing out, the first game we were kind of disappointed with the way Colombia went, where they started Borja and didn't start Muriel and Zapata. You bring both of those players into the next fixture. In the last game again, they really disappointed. I was really surprised that they really blew it the way they did. Like, they drew 0-0 against Venezuela. They at no point should they have drawn 0-0. They had like at least 19 shots. You know, like, and they ended up getting a stupid 90th minute red card. I think it was around then. But they ended up having a total of 23 shots and 8 on target, and couldn't get a single thing to break. Not gonna lie, their keeper had like the game of his life. You know, the Venezuelan keeper was just lights out. He was everywhere.
He was good. Very, very good. I'm just going to share my screen in a second now and just take a little bit of a look at the table and see what the results of the last match day, which is match day 2, pretty much means. Although with this tournament, you're going to expect that most sides will be on an uneven playing level in terms of matches played throughout the tournament. There might always be a give or take of about 1 or 2 games. So Group A, Brazil obviously looking the most dominant. I'll just zoom in a bit more. I can't see what's going on the stream. There you go. That should be big enough for people to see. Brazil, so far so good, man, for the Selecao, Christian Rivas, bro. They really took Peru apart, and they've just got too much quality, man. And even if you are able to keep up with them for, say, first half or 50 minutes, their depth and their quality, they're going to score goals up until the final whistle. So your thoughts on the game against Peru?
So my thoughts is, so the one thing when you look at a lot of international games, it's hard to have teams with actual identities. Outside of Italy, Brazil's the only other team I've seen with some sort of identity, and Germany, of course. But most teams, it's just like you put all your best players together and hope they do the best. Look at Argentina. It's literally their whole tactics are get the ball to Messi and hope he does some magic.
Yeah.
You know, Brazil, they look like an actual complete team. Paraguay, they looked very good as well. But that Brazilian game, when they played against Peru, they completely destroyed them. I didn't expect it to be that bad. You know, Neymar had a very good game. Gabi even started the first half. It was a good game overall. Peru, I still don't expect them to finish in last, but I wouldn't be surprised. Venezuela actually looked pretty decent in their 2 games. Even though they only got 1 point, their first game was a loss to Brazil. So there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, our brother Mo says best Brazil team since probably 2014. That's a good shout. That's a good shout. As Christian said, they do look like they've got an identity, and they definitely look like they're going out there to play to win and win big every single fixture. Peru, on the other hand, you know, not looking so good for them in a sense that, their first game, they've conceded 4 goals. We didn't talk about them much in the video. Just one question to finish off talking about them. Do you think they stand any chance at all at progressing through? Because I know we talked about the structure last time. Only one team in each group, Christian Rivas, is going to miss out. So that's nuts. So Peru, even though you get whacked by Brazil, do you see them being able to come back and scrap some points soon?
Well, the thing is, again, Colombia hasn't looked very good at all as well. So they have chances. Again, Brazil is just a different monster right now. Peru's next game, they got to show up and show something, because if they don't show something, that might be lights out for them. You can't just drop 2 straight games like that unless everybody else is dropping games and think that you're going to be able to stand a chance to qualify to the next round. But we'll see what ends up happening. I think Peru's next match is against Colombia, so that'll be on Monday, and it'll be a pretty good game because Monday we got some good games going on.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Sunday. My bad. Sunday
for you, Monday for me, so
yeah.
It's all good. Rodriguez's header was enough for Argentina to beat Uruguay. I wasn't impressed with just the tactical flow and setup of Argentina. Like, we get it, it's Messi, but he's literally being shadowed by 3 or 4 defenders every single time, and they just played really bunched up. The only time I think they looked really good was when Angel Di Maria got as much space on as possible, because he's still a dynamic player when he wants to cut in from either side. He's very versatile as well as a wide man. I just wasn't impressed overall. And I think when I look at that Argentina side on paper and see their squad, they really should be utilizing it to the more potential that it could have. Would you agree? And what did you think of the match against Uruguay?
So the game against Uruguay, I expected more. They, again, disappointed me. Their tactics weren't as great. It's the same thing, again, get the ball to Messi. I will say Lo Celso played very well. Lo Celso had some good moments. He had good distributing the ball from the midfield. I think Lautaro needs to really start stepping up, or they need to find a way to utilize him properly. Again, a lot of his runs, it seems like he's just trying to create space for Messi. It's not like he's being used at Inter, where they're using him to the best of his capabilities. They've mainly been using him as a decoy. And then sometimes when he does get in space, he's immediately cracked down by like 2 or 3 defenders. So it's one of those things for us. We need him to get going. It's just one of those things. Like, as an Inter fan, you want to see him start getting that repetition and get that good, flow going.
Yeah, 100%. I was going to bring an article up here that I was just reading before, but never mind. We kind of just discussed what was in it, so no need for that. Argentina, however, with the 3 points, it's all about getting the points at this point in time. So we'll share the table for the second group and start to talk a little bit about the other teams that are going to come up against them soon. Chile's next game. Who's Chile up against next, bro? Is that Chile one of the games on Sunday?
So they play Monday, you're Tuesday. They'll play against Uruguay. That Monday is like a real critical day. You're going to really see the group start taking shape. Chile, Uruguay is going to be a big game because Uruguay is going to need to get some points. And that's going to be the big game. Is going to be Argentina and Paraguay. Because if Paraguay could sit there and get a draw or better against Argentina, I think they stand a really good chance at even finishing top of the group. They watching them play, they look complete. They look like they were in sync. They knew what they were doing. Again, one thing is, I get it. It's Bolivia. They're not the best South American team in the group. But they'll sit there and go down 1-0 and then watch Bolivia park the bus completely and just see Paraguay keep going and going and going and going and going. And they ended up surging forward and getting the dub. It was actually impressive. I was surprised that they came back that strong to get the win.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Thanks again to Mo for his comment. Is this the weakest Copa America we have seen? Even the Argentina squad is not the greatest. You want to field that one as well, Christian? And thank you to the 9 people who are now in this video. Make sure you like the video. Let us know who you are.
I wouldn't say it's the weakest. Again, it's probably the most level, if you want to be honest. A lot of the teams are about at the same exact par. There's no clear differential outside of Brazil, who's playing lights out, but Paraguay is playing great. But again, you want to see these teams start clicking. Again, the first game, you're kind of like everybody's trying to get to know each other. They're still trying to find each other. Second game is starting to get better. The third and fourth game is where you really start seeing these teams go at it. A lot of the chemistry is starting to get built, and they start getting in sync. But again, it's not the weakest in my opinion. I would say you could look at some of the late 90s, early 2000s, where there was just a huge stark and vast difference between Brazil and Argentina and the rest of the group. Right now, Brazil probably has the best looking team, but all the other teams, they're on an equal level playing field. And you can see through the results, there's their draws, there's little close games and everything. So it's pretty good.
Chile needed a 10th minute goal, and that was enough, though, to beat Bolivia. Bolivia still pretty much expected to be the whipping boys of the competition. They also took a massive 3-1 defeat to Paraguay in a little bit of a weird game where Bolivia got a penalty, I think, in the 10th minute.
Yeah.
Did they even touch the ball before that, though? Or was Paraguay had like 80% of the ball, and then like on the first counter-attack of the game, penalty for Bolivia. It took Paraguay 62 minutes to grab the goal, but when they did, 3 goals in the space of 16 minutes to put the game to bed. And I know Christian is impressed with Paraguay.
So, fair game, it was a legitimate penalty. There's no denying that. It was legit. Paraguay was attacking most of the time, so Bolivia was just going to sit back and defend and counter. They actually did very good on the counter. They had a couple of chances, probably like 3 or 4, but they had some good shots on goal, and the Paraguay keeper had to step up a few times. Again, Bolivia, they did get outplayed by Paraguay, but they hung in there for the most part.
Yeah, fair enough, man. I'm going to go have a little look at the fixtures that are coming up again very soon. So Venezuela take on Ecuador tomorrow. This will only be Ecuador's second game of the tournament after taking a narrow 1-0 loss to Colombia. Ecuador, another team like Peru, really need some sort of positivity to get going, even if it is in the form of a point. Need some form of momentum. So Ecuador versus Venezuela, obviously it'll be a tough game, but a fairly open game. What's the prediction for that one, bro?
See, that's going to be a good game in itself. It's hard to tell who to really go for in that one, but I was kind of impressed with Valencia from Ecuador. He's not that bad of a player. He's good at attacking. He's good at controlling the ball and moving it around. He was great at distributing, especially as a forward. For him to do what he did, he kept dropping back and getting the ball. I think that he's going to do good for them. The thing is, if the rest of the Ecuadorian team can start clicking as well, it can't be just one player trying to carry the load for them. They're not that good. But they can do some damage in there. They got a lot of tall players. They're very physical. Their first game against Colombia was a good game. They might have lost, but they played them very well.
Fair enough. What I'm interested in seeing is this Colombia game again, because very tough side physically, but with the 4 points that they've collected in the tournament so far, bro, they've only scored 1 goal. Zapata and Muriel didn't have the best game in the last game. I remember we were both very surprised that they didn't start the first game. But, I expect them to start get going soon, man. Is it time for Colombia to maybe put a couple of goals together? It's easy to be disappointed in them, but, they've still collected 4 points in their 2 games, and it really is all about just getting the points.
Well, again, next they got Peru. So Peru's either going to be out there to try and prove a point and show that they're not as bad as they seemed in that first game, because they need to start getting something together, or that's it, lights out for them. You're not going to drop against Brazil and Colombia, and then the rest of the group is Venezuela and Ecuador, who are going to play you well. They'll get at least a point from you. So they need to start getting something together. Lapadula really needs to start getting himself going.
Yeah, for sure. So with the standings and everything like that, it's still pretty much looking the same as we discussed last time. Uruguay won't be happy with losing their first game. They had the chances, a prime Suarez or Cavani probably gets on the end of one of those crosses in the second half. But once again, they really struggled to win the ball back from Argentina. And once again, I know it's Messi and the whole game plan of give the ball to Messi, back to Di Maria, go to ground. They wasted a lot of time in the last maybe 5 to 10 minutes, Argentina. There was barely a football game going on, in my opinion, man. But Uruguay need to be a little bit better, but I expect them to come good, man. So, yeah, what about you?
Yeah, so Argentina kind of reminded me of a CONCACAF team, to be honest with you, with all the dropping to the ground and wasting their time. That's just like a strategical thing they do in CONCACAF against the giants like the U.S. or Mexico. You'll sit there and see someone from El Salvador or Honduras fall on the ground and just sit there and act like they got a cramp for the next 20 minutes,
What's your snack on the stream? It's becoming a trademark, bro.
I know.
That's why I never told you to stop. I'm like, let him do
it. It's healthy eating, bro. I got a Quaker here with peanut butter and jelly. I got some honeydew and pineapple.
Nice one, bro. Nice.
We cut out the fat foods over here.
Sweet. Yeah, bro. It's been an interesting tournament so far.
No, it's been good. I again, like I said, to me right now, so far the most impressive team, Paraguay. The biggest disappointment team is probably going to be, even though a lot of people won't agree with it, for me, it's got to be Argentina. Even though they're top of their group, they've been disappointing. Colombia, you can make an argument for, but they were never going to win their group. That's going to be Brazil.
Yeah. Here's a good question for you. Not from this dude, Chris, but from me. We're deeper into the Euros now. So we've had 2 match days and 2 match days in the Copa. What would you say are 2 or 3 of the real standout differences between the 2 tournaments, man? Be it technical, gameplay-wise, management, structure. What really separates these tournaments?
It depends what you're into, honestly. Like the Euros are more the glitz and glamour, while combo is more of the physical, brutal South American football. You're gonna get a lot of fouls, you're gonna get a lot of hitting, you're not gonna see many goals, obviously. Euros, you're gonna see a lot of goals, but you're all gonna see a lot of players, once they're touched on the ground. Look at Ronaldo, for example. You're gonna see that more often. It's not as hard hitting, and the refs are a little bit more strict in the Euros compared to the combo. You'll see a couple of plays, you'll be like, yo, that's a red card, like automatic. If this is City A or even the Premier League, that's like dead ass a red card. Here, it's not even a yellow. So you're gonna see a lot of these players start hitting each other, start getting more. I
also feel like the rivalry of the players between the nations is actually is more intense and more fiery than the Europeans. Big time.
Yeah. Honestly, in Europe, you have your rivals there, like Italy and France, but it's not hate. People don't get that. Like, there's no hate between the teams. It's just
more from a footballing perspective. Well, we've come across you guys so many times in major tournaments. We're over it by now. So, but that's what I see when I see these the South American teams go at each other. I'm like, there's some real resentment there for some of these nations.
Yeah, so it's the same thing. I guess you could say it's a North, Central, and South America thing. I can't really speak for Africa or Asia because I don't follow it as I should. I do enjoy watching the African Cup of Nations. I'm not going to sit there and lie to you. They have some good football as well. But I can't sit there and relate to it to understand like the beef between Ghana and Nigeria. But I can talk to you about like El Salvador, Mexico, USA, Honduras, El Salvador, where we even had a war over a soccer game. Like that serious. There was a legitimate war between El Salvador and Honduras over a game in the 70s. So,
can you elaborate a bit more if you got 1 minute? It sounds interesting.
It's a lot into it, but like El Salvador and Honduras are neighbors, and they've always had, a little beef, I guess you can say. But they were playing a game. The ref made some stupid decisions in it, and it was a 2-2 tie after like 90 minutes in the Azteca in Mexico. They had to move it there because they didn't want, the game to be played in either country. But it was legitimately a 4-day war that thousands of people actually died and thousands were displaced. But it had to do with refereeing, and it was just it's something that we sit there and we look at like, I mean, what do you expect? We're already hot-blooded. The ref does a dumb call. It's a bunch of stupid stuff, and we went to war with Honduras over it. It's stupid, but we live, breathe, and die this stuff. Like, we might not be as good as Italy, but we still passionate about the sport.
Yeah, fair call, bro. Fair call. That's it. I think that's it. Facts. Argentina don't look impressive. If Uruguay prime Cavani or Suarez, they would have won. Yeah, I would have to agree, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if they would have won, but they just would have had that little bit more. But yeah, they would have drew.
I mean, I'd like to see what everybody else thinks their most disappointing team has been so far. I see Darian, he comments in there, love your name again. Chris, I'm curious to see what he thinks is the most disappointing team and who his favorite is, but leave comments below.
Thanks, yo. And we're going to check in pretty soon because the games are going to keep coming. So, actually, before we go, one more thing. Did we already discuss who we think top scorer would be in the tournament? And has that changed for you?
We said Neymar. I think it's still
Oh,
going
we
to be
said
Neymar.
Neymar. Yeah, it's definitely going to be Neymar.
It's definitely
He did look really good, man. He did look really
Mm-hmm.
good. And they've just got so much depth up front, bro. Like having Richarlison, Firmino, and Jesus. Take your pick.
Yeah.
Take your pick, man.
And they still got Gabigol, believe it or not.
They like to give him field time, bro, for the Brazilian national team. He represents like a bit of a soul for them, bro.
Well, the thing is, you got to remember, he's Brazilian and he plays for a Brazilian team.
I was about to say he plays in Brazil, so the more that they can push that, they will.
It's the same thing with like the U.S. men's national team. There shouldn't be MLS players, but somehow an MLS player always sneaks in.
Fair enough. All right, man. Thanks for joining us again on Inter Worldwide for La Copa Loca. We'll go again soon.
All right, later.
Ciao.